it's Anne coming to you live with this training on my 30K in 30 days launch strategy. It's the same method that has helped me to earn a lot of money. In the last 12 months, more than $250,000 of my income can be attributed to this exact strategy, right? And it has also helped so many of my clients to earn their first 10K, 30K, 50K, and they've even had 100K launches. So I'd love to know, how possible do you feel a 30K launch is for yourself? Right? Let me know. Let me know in the comments, because give yourself a scale of 1 to 10. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being impossible and 10 being very possible, very likely, what do you think? How possible do you feel it is to make 30K from a launch in 30 days? Let me know. As always, gorgeous ladies, the more present you are, the more you interact, the more you turn off distractions and all the things, the more you ask questions, the more you will get out of this session, right? And there's only so much that I can cover in this one training. So I'm going to leave you with an overview of exactly what I do, but this is typically what I teach over a 30-day process, right? And it is something that I'm obviously teaching very soon, starting on the 1st of September as well. But do drop any questions that you have in the comments and I'll make sure to answer them. Before I get started, I would love to just very quickly introduce myself for those of you who may be new to my world. My name is Anne Ryan. I'm a business mentor and a mindset coach, and I help my clients who are mostly coaches, but I tend to work with coaches and consultants and course creators as well. I have worked with in the past. I help them to package and position their incredible value into a high ticket offer, right? And even if they already have an offer, we work together to really make it so irresistible that it practically sells itself. I show my clients how to accelerate their authority so that they can take prospects from cold to sold really fast. This 30 days launch strategy that I'm going to be sharing about is one of those strategies that can really help to take clients from cold to sold really, really fast. So I'm going to go through that in more detail. And I also teach my clients how to implement a predictable, organic client attraction strategy so they don't need to pay for ads, right? And they can bring in consistent leads and income month after month. So today's training is, of course, just focused on just one of those strategies. Like I said, the 30-day launch strategy. Let me say hello to the lovely Tiffany who's here. 4 is, oh, that's your score, right? You're scoring yourself 4. I'd have to raise my 1K price a lot to reach 30K. Tiffany, you're right. Yeah. It's not to say you can't have a 30K launch with a 1K offer. Absolutely. That is not what I'm saying, because you can. You just may need a much larger audience. That's all. Yeah. Or your offer is going to have to be so freaking good that it converts at a really, really high rate, and the majority of your small audience really want it, right? And in which case it's possible. Yeah. So there's 2 reasons I asked that question. One is to kind of figure out a little bit about the price point of your offer as well and how likely you think it is, but also to kind of think about it from a mindset perspective as well, because whatever you believe, you're right. If you believe that you can, then you will, and if you believe that you can't, you won't. So that is something to really, really keep in mind, because mindset plays a huge part in business and in our ability to earn whatever amount we choose to earn, right? When we can overcome whatever that's limiting us up here, that's when illogical results become possible, and you end up, with a 30K launch, even with a small audience, right? but you've got to believe it in the first place. But today's training is not about mindset. It's not going to be focused on mindset. I just kind of wanted to mention that. This strategy that I'm going to be talking about is often, not always, but often, because every client of mine is a little bit different, is often what I recommend that they implement immediately after they start working with me in my 12-month mastermind, right? And this has been instrumental for many of my clients achieving their return on investment within the first 30 months, right? So it works. And on September the 1st, for the very first time, right, I am going to be sharing this strategy outside of my mastermind. I've only ever shared this strategy inside of my mastermind, and I'm running a 30-day intensive where I'm walking some new clients through my strategy step by step, day by day. And I've done this. Like I said, I've never done this before, and I really don't know if I'm ever going to do this again, quite honestly. A little bit of an experiment, let's say, that I just want to see how it's received and how it goes. But I actually am doing this because I want to update it for my mastermind clients. And I thought, well, if I'm updating it for my mastermind clients and I'm going to deliver it live again, I might as well invite a few other people to join, right? So we'll see how this goes. The investment to be involved is currently only $2,000, and it will be going up to $3,000. So if at the end of today's training you feel like this is something you want a bit more support with, then reach out and I will be happy to share the link with you so you can come on board and you can join, because I will be providing day by day, step by step guidance, support, feedback, accountability, help, and all the things, right? That's what I do over that 30-day period. So it is an absolutely no-brainer price, right? And when I shared with my mastermind clients that I was doing it, they were like, oh my gosh, that is so cheap. Yeah, that is so cheap. But I wanted to make it a no-brainer price because I wanted to just give this opportunity for a few more people to jump on board. It is an absolute steal at that price, right? So if this is something that you would love a bit more support on, what you will get out of today's training will still help you. But if you'd like more hands-on support, more day-to-day, step-by-step kind of support, then that's what I'm offering. We start on the 1st of September. I already have 14 existing clients who will be joining and 4 new clients who've already said yes. So if you'd like to join us, drop a 2K or send me a DM. My DMs are finally working again, so that's a good thing. I've got a lot of catching up to do in the DMs as well. So bear with me if I'm a little bit slow to respond, because I'm not going to let my DMs get blocked again. So there's that. Tell me, I'd love to know, where are you at currently in your business from an income perspective? Drop that in the comments. Let me know. Yeah, I know, right, Jacelyn? I'm so excited to do this. Actually, it's fun. Anyway, I love live trainings and live coaching and all the things, so it's going to be fun with a few new people as well. Let me know in the comments, where are you at currently in your business? See, having a method or a system to scale your business means that you're not just leaving your income goals and all of that up to chance, right? And there's no hope involved. Hope is not a strategy for making money, right? So having a system is what gives us kind of security and certainty, and this is what gives us the peace of mind that we know what we need to do every day, yeah, and we can sleep really well at night knowing what we have to do every day in order to achieve a particular level of income, or to generate so many leads, or to close so many sales, and all the things that we do in business, right? No matter how much of a free spirit you are and how much you resist structure, this can be incredibly helpful, right? And what I've learned is, without a system, without a plan, My marketing was not as purposeful, it wasn't intentional, and I was actually unknowingly setting myself up for failure. Yeah. Because like getting in a car and just driving without knowing where we're going. Yeah. Sometimes without a system, we can get caught up in busy work that makes us feel really productive, but it doesn't actually bring in the income. Yeah. In business, it is so important to focus on revenue generating activities and also on profitability, right? And not just on the revenue side of things too. Yeah. There are so many businesses, I say this because there are so many businesses who make a lot of money, actually make way more money than me in my coaching business, and yet they actually have less profit because they're spending so much money on advertising. Yeah. So let me ask you this question. Would you spend $50,000 to make $100,000? Because many businesses do. There are businesses who pay 75 cents in the dollar, right? So 75% of their income goes on marketing expenses. And they're lucky to make a 25% profit after they've paid for all the other, expenses that they have in their business. That's normal. That's normal practice, right? Our offline business in the construction industry is a multi-7-figure business, but our profit margins are we have like about 25% of our expenses are staff related, employees. 50% of our expenses are material related because it's in the construction industry, so we have to actually buy products, and materials to build. That adds up to like 75%. And then plus we have other expenses as well. Yeah. So the profit margins are quite a bit lower. In the coaching industry, in coaching, we can actually have really high profit margins. Yeah. It depends on what expenses that we have. And a lot of people have businesses, but they also have big expenses, right? And so what I'm teaching is all organic. You don't have to spend a cent on ads. Nikki, you're just starting your business. Hope is not a strategy. So true. It's not, right? Every day, hope post that I share does something, without actually knowing, well, what is the next thing? What is the plan? What I teach is organic, and I don't teach cookie cutter solutions either, not inside of my mastermind. This 30-day experience that I'm taking my clients through on the 1st of September is going to be pretty structured, and it's kind of going to be, a step-by-step, day-by-day process that everybody follows. But this is not typically what I teach inside of my mastermind, right? But it is all organic, and it's a system that works, right? It's a system that works. Over a 30-day period, if you actually follow this system, it will work. And then you can rinse and repeat it as often as you choose. Yeah, as often as you choose. Launches is just one way that can really propel your business. And in between those launches, depending on how frequently you choose to run these launches, is when you can have your pay periods, right? Launches is when often you have your pay periods, but in between those launches is when you will continue to build your audience and your list and your leads and all the things, right? So then they're ready for that next launch. This is just one of the ways that businesses can choose to scale. Hey, Simajit, good to see you. I had sent you a message but didn't get a response, thinking your messenger was out of service. I will try sending again. Yeah, look, I may have received it, Simajit, but I could not actually respond to anyone. So I will have another look at that. But thank you for that. So tell me, when you are building your audience, do you know how to build your audience? Are you generating leads every day? Right? Are you getting in front of the right people? Are you building your email list? These are all things that can be done in a very systematic way when you're doing a launch, but Even if you're not doing a launch, these are absolutely essential things that need to happen every single day in a business, right? Every day. These are not just here and there activities. These are daily things. This is the base beat of your business, because without this, you can have one good month maybe, but then to get consistent and upward trends of growth and scaling, you have to continue to do this, right? So do you have this nailed down? Do you have this strategy? Do you know how to generate leads? Are you building your audience all the time, right? Because whilst you don't need a big audience to build a multiple six-figure business, especially if you're selling high ticket, right, you still need an audience, right? Otherwise, you won't be able to scale. My client, Fiona, who started working with me, I think she started working with me in mid-May, maybe mid-June. No, I think it was mid-May. She did her first launch and she made $60,000 from that launch, right? Now, full disclaimer, due to being a single mum and she has a 5-year-old and she has a busy life and she had a lot of other things going on at the time, she actually did her launch over about a 6-week period, right? So it was longer than 30 days. But she made $60,000 from that launch. Now, who here would feel disappointed if even the 30K launch took 6 weeks instead of 4 weeks? Would that be disappointing? Would you be disappointed? What if you could make $50,000 from a launch, like my clients Riley and Lisa have done? What if you could make $250,000 from one launch like I did, but it happened over a 12-month period? Is that a problem? It took more than 30 days. I want to change people's perspective and view on what a launch is, right? We don't need the stress that so many people put on themselves when it comes to a launch. There are certain things that need to be done really, really well in a launch, don't get me wrong, right? But it doesn't have to be stressful. It doesn't have to be overwhelming, yeah? It actually can be done in a really simple way. It just requires a systematic approach, right? Following a system, following a particular approach, and then tweaking and improving as you go, as necessary, right? Let me know in the comments, have you actually ever done a launch before? And tell me, what was your experience of that launch? Did it feel stressful? Did it feel overwhelming? Did you make any sales? Was it kind of in your eyes, a failure? I did 2 launches that were a big fat zero before I had my breakthrough, right? So launches do take some mastery as well. So I just wanted to leave you with that because, some people take a little bit longer than others. Let me see what you gorgeous ladies are saying. Hello. There are a few of you who've been able to join me. Hello, Dion. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Thank you for being here from Florida. How beautiful. I bet it's so beautiful and warm where you are. It is so cold in Melbourne, but we can't complain. Spring is just around the corner, so I'm pretty happy about that. Hello, Elaine. I didn't see you sneaking in here. Good to see you. Hey, Andrea. Good to see you too. Wow, I'd never think you had 2 zero launches. I did. 2 zero launches. In 2021, I launched for 6 months straight, every 30 days, right? Mastery is just something that is so important to me. I don't do something once and then quit. That's just not who I am. I launched for 6 months straight, every 30 days. It was the same offer, and the first 2 times I didn't make any sales. Then I think my next one was a 20K launch, then the next one was a 30K launch, and then it went from there. Then I had a couple of 50K launches, and I did that. I was pretty exhausted, true story, at the end of that 6-month period. And then I just launched every 12 months from that point. But I mastered I mastered it first, right? I mastered it first. That's the key. You've not that I failed. I learned what didn't work. I learned how to do things better. There are so many little aspects to a launch, right? You've got to get really good at lead generation. You've got to get really good at delivering some, an incredible training or whatever it is. And then you've got to get really good at sales, right? So there's a few little different elements to it. And as long as you can continue to improve, this works, this strategy works, and it actually doesn't have to be stressful. Yeah. And it works way better than just the busy work that sometimes we find ourselves doing because we actually don't have a plan or a strategy or know what we're meant to be doing next. Yeah. If you've had any experience with launches, I'd love to hear about it. Let me know. What I teach is that you start building your audience with your ideal target market, right? So when people come into my world, I just sort of assume that, they're starting from scratch, even though I know most of my clients do already have an audience and so on. But where we start. So even this 30-day launch strategy that we're starting on the 1st of September, the intensive, that's where we will start, right? We start by building your audience with your ideal target market, right? And then in the first week, you've got to look at creating the outline of a free training that will lead people to your paid offer. Yeah. And that training will happen typically in the 4th week of the launch, right? So whenever you decide to launch, just plan ahead, give yourself that 3-week lead time. Typically, once you're rinsing and repeating this, you only need a 2-week lead time. But when you're sort of starting out, I give yourself 3 weeks and then set a date and plan for something really valuable that you can teach your clients, right? And your prospects, rather, that will lead them to then wanting to talk to you about your offer. Yeah. Then in the 2 weeks in between, that first week when you're doing your planning and preparation, and the 4th week when you are actually delivering the value, is when you're going to be doing your lead generation. Yeah. And as you start generating new leads, you will also start nurturing them, right? You'll nurture them with content and just by connecting with them. Connection is the most important thing in order for you to later close a sale, right? I'm not talking about selling. I'm talking about connecting here. This is the time. The more you can connect and kind of warm your audience up, if you like, before they show up for the free training, the more they will feel like they know you, love you, and trust you as well, right? And your show up rates will be way higher too for your actual launch. And they'll feel excited about it because, you're not selling. This is not your time to sell, but this is purely your time to kind of connect and find out what's going on for them and see if there's any other value that you can provide them, and maybe sort of ask them questions so you can say to them that you'd like to incorporate what it is that they're sharing, or whatever they need help with in your actual training as well, right? And in week 4, you deliver the trainings and you invite the leads into a sales conversation, right? Now, I know that's very high level. I am going to sort of go in a little bit deeper, but for those of you who actually come on board and work with me from the 1st of September, this is what we will go through day by day. We will focus on this, right? And steps. So I'm telling you everything today, but in my intensive, that's not how it'll be delivered, right? It'll be kind of like, today, this is what we're focusing on. This is what you need to do. Here's a template, or here's a script, or here's a guide for what you have to do, and right? And so it is there's a very systematic approach to how to deliver this, right? And of course, I'm able to provide feedback and all those sorts of things as well, right? Key is, gorgeous ladies, if you're not joining me on the 1st of September, that's perfectly okay. I still want you to find this value. I want this to be helpful for you. Take imperfect action, right? Take imperfect action for your first launch, because then you have a benchmark from which to improve from, right? Let me know, by the way, if you have any questions at all. I am going a little bit deeper, but let me know, ask me questions, because there's only so much I can cover in this training, right? But if there's something you want to know more about, just ask me. I will give you the answer, right? Coaching can be simple and it can be done with a small audience. You start by generating leads, like I said, inviting them to your free training. When you are in front of the right people, it all starts with being in front of the right people, right? Lead generation is the easiest thing. Yeah. It's the easiest thing. Like if you're trying to sell, I don't know, parenting advice to 18-year-olds who don't have children, obviously there's a huge disconnect. Yeah. That was probably a really bad example. But you see what I'm saying? If you're selling, I don't know, marriage counseling to single mums, there's a huge disconnect, right? So it all starts with getting in front of the right people. And then if you put the right, lead magnet in front of the right people, they will say yes. They will say yes. Yeah. It's not that hard. If you already have an email list, then obviously you can your email list. If you have people that you've spoken with in the past, you might want to let them know as well. And this is the time when the first, before you've got a 2-week period in which to really build as many people as you possibly can onto your list so you can come along and experience your training and your launch, right? And your launch can be anything from a 90-minute masterclass or webinar through to a 3 or a 5-day training, which ends with a call to action to work with you, right? I've tested all the things. I've tested all the strategies, and I typically recommend 3 or 5 days. For some people, 5 days is just too long, and in which case I suggest 3. But 3 to 5 days is the perfect amount of time to really take someone from cold to sold. Yeah. They need that. A 90-minute training is kind of, you've got to be really good. You've got to be really, really good on point with, that webinar style where you can actually deliver something really valuable in a short period of time, and then, right, what it is that your offer is. During a 3 to 5 day training, you will create an experience that will give your clients a mini shift or transformation, right? So before they've even paid to work with you, they've experienced something. They've had an aha moment. They've had a shift, right? And this is more than just teaching them about, the 3 steps to XYZ, right? This is kind of like, this is more than teaching. This is about inspiring them and showing them what's possible as well. Yeah. Your titles, your marketing hooks for every day of the trainings is hugely important, right? It's hugely important because that is what's going to entice people to come along. Yeah. And yay, Nikki, I know, I can't wait to get started too. It feels like it's so far away, right? First, I've still got like another week before we get started, and I'm so ready to get going right now. I can't wait for it either. So what else can I tell you? The titles are super important. The hooks, like you've got to think of each day as like a mini training in itself. Even though it's part of like a series, you need each day to be just as enticing, right? Because People might show up for day one, but they may not show up again, right? So we need to give people a reason to keep coming back for more. And there is sort of a little bit of thought that needs to go into that, right? The first launch is always the hardest, ladies. It really is. But I promise you, it just gets easier and easier and easier as you rinse and repeat it, right? And for those of you who do join me on the 1st of September, you will have lifetime access to the trainings. So you'll be able to come back and follow it again and again and again, right? You decide to rinse and repeat, because it could be a strategy that you choose to use all the time, or it might be a strategy that you use once a quarter or once every month, or whatever the frequency can be, right? I really do believe that a launch can also be made evergreen. Yeah, which is that I'm trying to get across here. I did one launch last year, and I continued to sell from that one launch for 12 months, more than 12 months, right? And if you have one offer, like I have one offer, don't be afraid to keep making that same offer every time you launch. Yeah. I am proof. If you're happy to earn 100K months, right? You can do it with one offer. On that, maybe it's helpful to have multiple offers, a second offer perhaps, right? Now, I understand there are people here who are multi-passionate and who love selling all the things and doing all the things and creating all the things, and they spend so much time creating, they actually, they're not selling. Yeah. And there's no judgment, because we're all different. Yeah. And so for some of you, the thought of only having one offer and selling one offer might feel very restrictive, right? And that's okay. You can sell multiple. The point being that you don't have to. You can keep business super simple, low stress, less overwhelm by doing one thing, right? One thing over and over again, and then, and continue to bring in new people into your audience, and that's how you check out the big businesses out there. That's exactly what they do, right? They're not constantly creating new things. Yeah. To scale beyond 100K months, like I said, obviously having multiple offers may be helpful, or you need to really kind of continue to expand your audience, because multiple offers can be helpful if you want to, stick to that low ticket model and small audience model, right? Low ticket, small audience requires multiple offers. Yeah. But if you go high ticket, small audience, you can get away with just one offer. Yeah. At the end of the day, business is a numbers game, ladies. Business is a numbers game. So how many sales do you need to make 30,000, for example, in 1 month? Let me know. How many sales do you need? We've got to get really excited about the numbers, right? Because you can and make it work, whatever your numbers are. It's just understanding your numbers. That's important, right? So let's say you can generate quality leads a day. Yeah. 5 leads a day is not hard. 5 leads a day is honestly not hard at all. And say you do this over a 10-day period, which is the amount of time I allow in the 30-day launch. And that's not including weekends, right? Some of my clients choose to work weekends. That's perfectly fine. So this is assuming you work 5 days a week, you've got 10 working days in which to do lead generation. And I'm going with a super conservative low number of just 5 leads, right? Some of my clients will make 100 one post. Yeah. So I'm going super conservative here. Low numbers to make it easy for everybody to feel like it's doable. 5 quality leads a day. So over 10 days, you end up with 50 leads. Now, let's say an offer that is valued at $5,000. Yeah. You'll need 6 sales. Yeah. So to get 6 sales from 50 leads, you need to convert 1 in 8 people. Now, keep in mind, you've nurtured these people, you've helped them to get to know you, like you, and trust you. They're there because they want the promise that you've made them, right? Through the training. And and so all it is you are extending that promise by offering them a paid opportunity to work with you. Yeah. So converting 1 out of 8 is not unreasonable. It really isn't. Yeah. And if you had, let's say, a 10K offer, then you'd only need 3 clients to make $30,000. And so then you would only need to convert 1 in, 17, 1 in 16 people in order to make 30K. Yeah. Either way, with high ticket, you don't need a big audience, right? You don't need a big audience. So you need 5 sales, Elaine. Yeah, and so, you don't need a big audience. And Elaine, I know you convert at a high rate, right? Once people understand you actually have the solution to their problem, that's the thing. It's a matter of just showing them that you actually have the solution to their problem. And in this live launch experience that I'm doing, I will also be providing sales training and sales scripts and the exact scripts that I've used myself in order to close sales. And right now, I'm not even selling, right? I'm not even selling on calls. I'm doing all my sales through the DMs as well. So, I don't recommend selling in the DMs until you've already had experience of selling on calls. But if you want to learn how to sell in the DMs right from the get-go, that's a possibility, right? I can share how I do it. But like I said, the conversion rates are lower when you sell in the DMs compared to when you hop on a call. That's just a fact. That's a reality, right? And once you launch, you rinse and repeat. Like I said, in 2021, I did this for 6 months straight. And that's how I achieved mastery. Yeah. And you can expect to get better and better and better each time. And it gets easier and easier and easier each time. So, like I said, whether you join me to do this live or whether you do this by yourself, come back and watch this training again. Look what I'm doing on because I actually practice everything that I teach. You can see how I generate leads. Yeah, it's all there. I'm super transparent. And if you ask me anything also, I'm really happy to share that with you. And the time between launches is when you continue to build your audience. You continue to build your email lists and all those things. And it could be as simple as even just connecting with one person a day, right? That's 5 people a week. High ticket though. This is high ticket. I have the high ticket filter on when I'm talking to you, right? You don't need big numbers. 1 person a day, and you offer them the launch that once you've finished it, once you've completed the live launch, you can replay. That's exactly what I did to earn the 250,000. I just offered people the replay, and people were converting way after the event as well. Yeah. Relationships and connections are far more important in business than just the vanity numbers, right? We don't need lots and lots and lots of numbers. We just need to really build strong relationships and connections with people and help them to see that we have the solution to their problem. Is this making sense? Does anyone have any questions? Is there any part of this that you'd like me to go deeper into? You just need 2 things, right? You need a really good offer, yeah? And you need to get visibility, people to see that offer, yeah? And then you've got a successful business. That's it. And this launch strategy is just one of the strategies to get that offer in front of a lot of people. Yeah. And then once you've done this, you have an incredibly valuable lead magnet, which you can continue to use over and over and over again, like I have for the last 12 months. And what I'm sharing today is entirely achievable working less than 4 hours most days, which is what I've done. Yeah. I am the embodiment of what I teach. I practice exactly what I teach. Yeah. Occasionally there are days. Occasionally during that sales week, you may have a lot of people booked in for sales calls. You might have longer days. Occasionally, when you are creating your very first funnel, you don't even need the technology and the funnels, by the way I do. But if you choose to, that might result in a slightly longer day if you are not, that great with technology. But if you're great with technology, I'm talking simple stuff. I'm not talking complicated sales pages and all the things. I don't do any of that. I keep business super, super simple. I don't like anything that feels hard. Yeah. That is required, right? Simple is simple. It means it's not complicated, but there's still some effort required. There is still some work required. And you have to be willing to do the work. You have to want to do the work, right? In order to see success. So, is the lead magnet for a really specific problem? Yeah, Tiffany. Yes, I'd say so. I think everything that I do is very focused on specificity. It's like even my offer is very focused on specificity. It's like I always think about what is the one promise. One promise, that's it. One promise from the offer, one promise from the lead magnet, one promise from the training, one promise in our lead generation, in our content, in all the things. I'm always focused on one thing, not lots of things. Yeah. So did that answer your question? And when you think about the problem, let me give you another little clue. This is an important thing that so many people miss. You've got to think about what is the problem that people are experiencing now. Yeah. It's got now problem. If it's like something that they're in the future, if it's like a big dream type thing, people take a lot longer. It's not to say that it won't sell, but it's not, yeah. So it needs to solve a now problem. And it could be a desire focused thing too, but people are just far more motivated to get out of pain than they are to achieve all their dreams and their desires. I don't play to the pain. I don't necessarily market to the pain, but still, we need to understand what the pain is, what the problem is. Cool. I'm glad it was helpful. But Tiffany, everyone has a different perspective on this, right? Now, this is my opinion, this is my perspective, yeah? And I'm a strong advocate for getting really specific and really honing in the one thing. For me, that's what makes business simple. It makes it so much easier. It makes it so much easier to position yourself as an expert. People know very quickly and it doesn't take a long time for people. People on social media have got the attention span of Dory from Finding Nemo, and you've got 3 seconds to grab their attention. Now, if they 5 seconds or 10 seconds and they're scrolling through your social media and you're talking about 15 different things, they have no idea what you're a specialist in. Yeah, my opinion. Yeah, and so I'm a strong for kind of getting really honed in on that messaging and positioning piece and making it about that one promise and solving that one problem. Yeah. Once you have the framework, it gets really easy. You can review, you can improve, you can repeat as often as you choose. Having a simple structure and a system to follow is what removes the overthinking, the overwhelm, the burnout, and all the things, right? Because on any given day exactly what it is that you have to do, right? And that is the strategy. Let me know if you have any questions at all. I will be happy to come back and answer them as well. If you're watching the replay, ask me any questions. 1st of September, I'm going live with a group of gorgeous women on a 30-day journey, step by step, day by day. I'll be providing guidance on everything that I've talked about today, from getting your social media looking awesome for business, your audience, generating leads, creating a incredibly valuable training, and selling your offer, right? And all the things in between. So if that sounds like it would be helpful for you and you would like that level of support and feedback and guidance, right, what I'll be able to do. Because in these trainings, I'm teaching, I'm sharing information, but I'm not able to actually, and I can answer questions, but we've got an hour. We haven't got 30 days. And, I'm not able to you're not able to show me what you've done and what's worked and what hasn't worked, so we can together help to tweak and improve things too, which is what we'll be able to do in that 30-day experience. So I'll provide templates and swipe files and scripts and all the things, right? And it just helps. It just helps you if you don't see one of those areas as being a skill that you already have that you might find super helpful. So the investment is $2,000 right now. It is going up to $3,000. We start on the 1st of September. If you'd like more information, send me a DM, or otherwise I will love you and leave you right now. Thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you very, very soon. Bye everyone.